Hello, everybody. This is ELA 8. This is Miss Mills. I have your student for English class. Welcome. We're going to learn about, me, the class, and the website, and I'm trying to give away as much detail as possible so that you can see what your child is doing in my class. I just want to say thanks for everything you're doing for your child, whether they're remote or they're here in class every other day. They're doing really well. Nobody knew what we were getting back into coming back to class, and it's been amazing. It's been so good to be back, and it's been fun to learn with them and work with them. So thank you for everything you're doing, whether it's checking on them for homework or making sure they're eating and taking a break from, gaming or something. Um, then I really appreciate it. And Mr. Rogers has got a great quote here to just remind you that, the teens hear you. They take away what you're giving out to them, those positive messages you're trying to, put into them as teens. They do hear you. Okay. Curriculum objectives, what I plan to accomplish. So for grade 8, it really is important to think about what they missed in grade 7. I know that I did not get to teach as much as I would have liked to last year, and I'm sure that's true for all teachers due to the pandemic. So we've got a lot of ground to cover, but the beauty of English is, think about it. You're reading, you're writing, you're listening, you're speaking. You're going to get to it. You're going to get to repeat these skills and make up for that last time. It'll be fine. It's also important to support the needs of students. So that means I am going to start my restorative justice circles, which I'm really excited about. I did do them last year. Some of your students had me and they know what I'm talking about. But basically, we talk about life. How do I solve conflicts? How do I talk to my parents about this important issue? What if I have been not getting the grades I should and I need help? Like important discussions that are about that social emotional learning, because students are people. They're not just students who get a grade and then they leave your class. They have their own things going on in their lives, and it's important to shape them in all sorts of ways, not just in English. Okay, so preparing students for next year. Yeah, it's also important to make sure that when they go on to the high school, that they are ready to write those essays, ready to read at that level. And I'm doing everything I can, to make that happen. So to support students, I'm definitely reviewing what we learned last year: plot, characterization, conflict, plenty of key things like race writing paragraphs, which means restate, answer, cite, explain. And that's like a formula to make a successful paragraph. So we'll be starting that again. I also want to build strong connections. It's so important for students to see that you are there to support them as an English teacher and not just to mark their paper up with, red ink back in the day, or that you're going to come down on them like a ton of bricks. Like, they need to make mistakes. That's how we learn. That's how everybody learns. So I do work on those strong connections. Repetition, we do repeat. You're going to rewrite that paragraph. You're going to answer that question again. You're going to see what we taught on your quiz, which they should have. We just took a quiz on characterization, and I literally used the questions that I taught in class. And listen, some people still miss some of the questions. That's okay. Some people got it, some people didn't. That's what learning is. And it's recursive too, right? That you are going to keep coming back to it, and you're going to learn even more every time that you look at it. So again, with the repetition and having some grace. We did have 7 months away from school, so we got to remember that too. Grading policy, it has changed a little bit. We started off with one grading policy at the beginning of the year, but we were asked by administration to change it up a little bit to include more for participation and some other aspects. So we did, no worries. So quizzes, those are worth 25% of your child's grade. Classwork, it's worth 30%. Projects, 25%. We just finished that identity project in my class about how a family shapes our identity, which is really cool. And participation and homework are worth 20%. So that just means, did they complete Kahoot, or are they getting their work done? Things like that. Answering questions, that's participation. On their off day, so say that you are a white team student and you are in school, then the purple team students are the ones who are on an off day. Okay, so that means those students are still completing bell ringers, those entrance activities, quick questions, maybe about characterization. That's what we've been focusing on. And just check on them. Do they know what direct or indirect characterization is? Can they tell me why it's indirect or direct characterization? I also have exit tickets. So after I've taught a lesson, I just want to check in and see, did they get this? Do I need to review this again? What's going on with them? Google Meet, we do a Google Meet every day. Mondays, it's more office hours, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have class. We're meeting. So they should be on a meeting unless I've told them something else. I have a classroom and a website, and I do like to be interactive. They're not just listening to me all the time. They play Kahoot, which is a game. They play quizzes. They get to watch a video. They get to produce work that with other students, that's partner work, who's, online, because of course we want to stay socially distanced, but also keep in mind that teenagers need that social interaction. Okay, so I do have a website. I'll post it and I'll email you about it. My homepage starts here. And I made a little fun Bitmoji here of myself. If you are a student, you can click here and it'll take you to different pages. That will take you to also this, right? What your classwork is. There's also a parent portal, and that is more about, if you want to contact me, and also if you want to get to know me as a teacher, like what kinds of things do you need right here. If you just want to get to talk to me about different things, you can click that link and boom, you click that other link and it'll take you to this contact form. It's in English and in Spanish. And whatever you click down here will determine, right? If I clicked English, it would continue in English. If I click in Spanish, it'll continue in Spanish. They're the same questions. It's just the language that you prefer to discuss, how your child's doing or a concern. I also have a syllabus. So if you ever want to check and say like, I don't remember that being in the syllabus, it's here, it's here, it's there, it's there. So yeah, I did update these to reflect the new change in the grading policy. So let's say you're an 8th grade student and you're in period 2. If you click here, hopefully in a second, there you go, Wi-Fi. Okay, I have different days up. So I did combine this week. Usually it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but today it's Tuesday, Wednesday. You click on the slideshow and it will take you through what we're doing. I think it's really important to make sure that they have a visual for whatever we're talking about. So it's Tuesday. Here are our learning standards. We're all taking the iReady this week, so that's why I've combined all these slides. We're doing the same thing, right? Grade 7 and grade 8 are definitely taking the iReady. And just instructions, things that are as clear as they possibly can be for students. I think that's important. Oops, I went a little rogue, sorry. Sometimes I'll just have positive messages, and I always put the directions underneath the day. Like, this is what you're doing today. It's important for them to see it and to hear it because sometimes people are better with visuals than they are with hearing things. If they missed it, they can always check. So there's that. Also, if your child wants to check work, so they could do it there, or they could go to here and they click on classroom, and then they can choose what class they're a part of. So like maybe they're in ELA 8, period 1. I post messages here on the stream. Students can post messages back to me. It's also where they can find the link to get into my class, or they could go to their calendar, which is also up here, right? They could click that and it would pop up. They could click join the meet, or even here. I mean, there's lots of different ways they can get to my Google meeting every day. I have everything broken down by week. I like things organized visually. So it starts off with Monday, it goes all the way down to Friday. So even if it's not posted for them, like that's in gray, that means I already have my assignment scheduled. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. This was last week's work. So if we click on last week, they can go here. I tell them what they need to do. Here's a little bell ringer, like I said, and boom, 15 turned it in. Good job, everybody. So it's great. I like how organized it is. It makes it simple for your child to figure out where are they going, what are they doing. Yeah, let's see, what else do we have? Mondays, what do we do on Mondays? So Mondays are about office hours. We have 10 to 10:30, that's my time. And basically they could complete an assignment with me. They could ask about an assignment. They could say like, hey, I know we're learning characterization, but I'm a little confused about this, or I'm writing this paragraph. What do you think? So office hours are great. Sometimes students just pop in really quickly too. Student work. I can't stress enough how important it is that students do the work. Um, that means that they need to turn it in complete. It means that they can't just turn it in and leave it blank. That has happened for some, students are like, I turned it in. Yes, you did, but it's blank. Don't do that. I also don't like to be vague. So, for example, we had an assignment where I wanted them to tell me about their name. So I gave them directions. What do you need to tell me? And I gave them a sample paragraph. I talked about myself and a funny incident about my name. And the reason I did that is I want them to see how a paragraph should look. It should be indented. It should have details in it about your name in this case, okay, about that topic. So I always want them to have a sense of what I'm looking for. It doesn't make sense to set up some invisible test of like, we'll do this assignment and they don't even know what it looks like, right? It was based on this awesome excerpt from Sandra Cisneros about her name and why she did or did not like her name. Okay. If you ever want to contact me, the easiest way I have to say is email because I can write you back and I check this email very frequently. Every day I open it up. If you like telephone better, you can call me at this extension. I'm not at that extension all day because I'm around the building, right? The teachers are moving to the different rooms, but at the end of the day, I'll be able to see you left a message. I also have a Google Voice number that goes straight to my cell phone. It's like an office number. It's not my actual cell phone number. It's just a professional number. So if you ever need anything, let me know. I'm really liking working with your students, and I hope you have a great week.